Jason Carter stood at the edge of the wide landing platform, adjusting the collar of his borrowed uniform. He wasn't used to fancy clothes. As an engineer on the human starship Aurora, his days were spent fixing things, not attending royal ceremonies. But this was different. Today, he and a small team had arrived on the alien world of Xylaris for a diplomatic mission. Xylaris was nothing like Earth. The sky was a soft purple, and the air smelled faintly of fruit. Tall, blue trees lined the paths, and glowing insects floated gently like sparks in the wind. Jason tried not to look too impressed. He didn't want to seem like a tourist, even though he definitely felt like one. He stood among the delegation of humans, listening to the translator drone hum softly near his shoulder. His job was just to keep the tech running and stay out of trouble. That was the plan. Simple, quiet. The plans change. The royal family of Xylaris stepped forward to greet the visitors. Tall and graceful, they moved with an elegance that made Jason feel even more out of place. At the center was Princess Lyra. She wore a long silver robe that shimmered in the strange sunlight, and her eyes glowed like pale green jewels. She was stunning. Jason looked up, trying not to stare. But then it happened. Princess Lyra stopped, completely. Her steps froze mid-stride. Her smile faded. Her glowing eyes locked on Jason. For a long moment, she didn't move. Jason blinked, then looked around. Maybe she was staring at someone else. But no, her eyes were on him. The silence became heavy. Everyone noticed. The translator drone clicked uncertainly. One of the alien guards stepped forward, but the princess held up her hand. Still, she didn't speak. She just stared at Jason like she had seen a ghost. Jason shifted awkwardly. Hi? He said quietly. There was a sudden sound, like a whisper spreading through the gathered aliens. One of the human diplomats gave Jason a sharp look. He stepped back, hoping to disappear. He had no idea what he had done. Then, without a word, Princess Lyra turned and walked away. Her guards followed quickly, whispering among themselves. The humans stood in silence, unsure what had just happened. Jason looked to his captain, who frowned deeply. "What did you do?" she asked. "I don't know," Jason replied. "I just stood here." The rest of the ceremony went on, but something had clearly changed. The warmth and welcome from the Xylarians faded. Jason felt eyes on him. He wasn't sure if they were angry, curious, or afraid. Later that evening, Jason sat in a quiet room on the ship. He replayed the moment over and over in his mind. Why had the princess looked at him like that? Why had she left so suddenly? It didn't make sense. He was just an engineer. He didn't have any special training in diplomacy. He didn't know anything about alien customs. He hadn't even said anything offensive. At least, he hoped not. A soft knock came at his door. Was Amanda, one of the ship's science officers. "Hey," she said. "Mind if I come in?" "Sure," Jason replied. Sitting up, she stepped inside and closed the door. "People are talking," she said, "about what happened today." "I didn't do anything," Jason said. "I swear, I believe you." But it wasn't nothing. The princess reacted to you like she'd seen something shocking. Something personal. Jason frowned. "Why me?" Amanda shrugged. "I don't know, but maybe you remind her of someone." Jason leaned back in his seat. That idea didn't make him feel any better. "Just be careful," Amanda said. "Until we know more, try not to attract attention." "Got it," Jason said. She gave him a small smile and left. Jason stared out the window at the glowing trees in the distance. This mission was supposed to be simple, routine. Now nothing felt simple anymore. The princess had looked at him like she knew him, like she had seen something she couldn't believe. He didn't know why, but he had a feeling he would find out soon enough. The next morning, Jason woke up early. He couldn't sleep well after what happened with Princess Lyra. His mind kept going back to that moment, her eyes wide with shock, her sudden silence. It made no sense. He walked through the ship's corridor to the main control room. The halls were quiet. Most of the crew were still asleep. Jason liked this time. It was peaceful. No one asked him questions. No one stared at him. But when he reached the control room, he saw Captain Dana already there. She turned when she heard him. "Jason," she said, "you have a minute?" He nodded. "Sure." She motioned for him to sit. "We got a message from the Xylarian royal court." Jason felt a wave of worry. "Am I in trouble?" "No," the captain said. "But it's strange. The message was for you, personally." Jason blinked. "Me?" "Yes. The princess has requested a private meeting. Just you and her." Jason stared at her. "Why?" "She didn't say, but she was clear about the request. No one else." "Just you." Jason's stomach turned. He didn't want to upset anyone again, but he also didn't want to refuse the request of a princess. "All right," he said. "I'll go." 2 hours later, Jason stood at the gates of the royal gardens. A soft wind moved through the tall plants. Strange flowers glowed in the sun, and small creatures buzzed from one leaf to another. A Xylarian guard guided him through the garden. After a short walk, they stopped near a small pond. Princess Lyra stood by the water, looking at the reflection. The guard stepped back. Leaving Jason alone with her, Jason cleared his throat. "Princess Lyra," she turned slowly. Her face was calm now, not shocked like before. "Thank you for coming," she said. Her voice was soft but strong. Jason nodded. "I wanted to understand what happened." Lyra looked down at the water. "When I saw you yesterday, I was not ready." "Ready for what?" Jason asked. She paused, then said, "You look exactly like someone I lost a long time ago." Jason stayed silent. He felt like he was standing in a dream. "His name was Aaron," she continued. "He was my promised mate. He died in the war, saving others." Jason didn't know what to say. He looked at her carefully. She wasn't angry, just sad. "When I saw you," she said, "I thought I was seeing him." Again, it broke something in me. Jason stepped closer. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." "It's not your fault," she said. "But now?" "The court is talking. They think you were sent by fate or by spirits." Jason laughed a little. "I'm just a human engineer. I fix broken things." Lyra gave a small smile. "Perhaps you were sent to fix more than machines." Jason looked around the quiet garden. He felt out of place, like he had stepped into someone else's life. "What do you want from me?" he asked. Lyra looked at him with serious eyes. "Help me. Just stand by my side during this visit. People will feel hopeful. I will feel stronger." Jason frowned. "You want me to pretend to be him?" "No," she said quickly. "Not pretend. Just be here, as yourself. That's enough." He nodded slowly. "Okay, if it helps, I'll do it." Lyra looked at him for a long time. "Thank you." They sat near the pond for a while. The silence was peaceful, not heavy. Jason asked about Xylarian customs. Lyra explained a few, smiling softly as she spoke. She seemed more relaxed now. Jason began to see her not just as a princess, but as a person. Someone who had lost something, just like people on Earth. The stars were far apart. But grief was the same. After some time, Lyra stood. "The court will expect us at the council hall tomorrow. Will you come with me?" Jason nodded. "Yes." She gave a short bow. "Until then, Jason Carter." He smiled. "Until then." As he walked back to the ship, Jason felt a strange mix of emotions. Confusion, worry, but also something new. He had come here to repair machines. Now he was part of something much bigger. And it had only just begun. The next day came quickly. Jason woke up feeling nervous. He put on the same formal uniform from before. It still felt too tight, and the boots made his feet hurt, but today was important. Princess Lyra had asked him to stand with her at the council hall. He looked in the mirror. His brown hair was still a little messy, and he had a small scar on his chin from an old accident. Nothing special, nothing royal. He still didn't understand why he had been chosen for this. When he stepped off the ship, 2 Xylarian guards were already waiting. They nodded silently and walked with him through the gardens and into the tall white buildings of the palace. Inside the council hall, everything looked grand. The ceiling sparkled with lights that floated like tiny stars. The floor was made of smooth black stone, and the air was filled with a soft hum that came from somewhere deep within the walls. Jason stood at the side of the hall as Princess Lyra entered. She walked with calm steps, wearing a deep blue robe. The room grew quiet. She turned to Jason and gave a small nod. He walked forward and stood beside her. Every eye in the room turned to him. The council members, tall with shimmering robes, whispered among themselves. Jason couldn't hear what they were saying, but he knew it was about him. Lyra raised her hand, and the room went still. "This is Jason Carter," she said. "He is not Arn. He is not a ghost. But he is here now, and he has shown kindness and courage. I ask that he be welcomed with respect." A few council members nodded. Others looked unsure. An older member stood. His robe glowed faintly gold. "He brings confusion," he said. "Many believe he is a sign. Others fear what he might mean." Jason took a step forward. "I'm just a visitor. I don't want to cause trouble. I only want to help Princess Lyra. That's all." The room was quiet again. Then the elder nodded. "Help can take many forms. We will watch." After the meeting ended, Lyra led Jason through a quiet hallway. "You spoke well," she said. "I just told the truth," he replied. They walked side by side, their footsteps echoing softly. Jason could see the worry on her face. "They're not sure." "About me," he said. "They're not sure about many things," Lyra said. "Some think your arrival is a message. Others think it is danger. And you?" She stopped walking. "I think ... it is change, and change always brings fear." They kept walking until they reached the balcony. From there, they could see the city. Tall towers, glowing bridges, and flying ships filled the view. Jason leaned on the railing. "Xylaris is beautiful," he said. "It is," Lyra said, "but it is also fragile. There are groups that do not want peace." Jason turned to her. "Is that why you need someone like me? To show the people they can believe again?" "Partly," she said. "But more than that, I feel stronger. When you are near, you remind me that not all is lost." Jason looked away. He didn't know how to answer that night. Jason stayed in the guest quarters within the palace. He couldn't sleep. He walked the halls, trying to clear his head. As he turned the corner, he heard voices. He stopped and listened. "He must leave," a sharp voice said. "It is not our choice." The princess asked him to stay. "He looks like the dead one. That will bring unrest." Jason leaned closer, careful not to make a sound. "If the people believe he is a sign, they may follow him. That could break the council's control. What do you suggest? We watch, we wait, and if needed, we remove him, quietly." Jason backed away slowly. His heart was racing. Someone wanted him gone. Maybe worse. He returned to his room and locked the door. The next morning, he met Lyra in the garden. "You look tired," she said. "Didn't sleep much," Jason replied. She looked at him with concern. "Is something wrong?" He hesitated, then nodded. "Some people don't want me here." Lyra's face grew serious. "I know. There are always those who fear change. They may try something." She stood tall. "If they do, they will answer to me. You are under my protection." Jason smiled a little. "That's good to hear." But deep inside, he knew things were not going to be easy. Someone was watching him. Someone thought he was a danger, and they were ready to act. He wasn't just an engineer anymore. He was part of something bigger, and now he had to survive it. The days passed slowly. Jason stayed close to Princess Lyra during public events. They visited schools, met with city leaders, and even walked through open markets. Every time, people stopped and stared. Some bowed, Some whispered. Many smiled. But not all. Jason noticed that the palace guards changed often. Some gave him cold looks. Others avoided his eyes. He always felt like someone was watching him. One evening, Lyra and Jason sat together in a quiet room filled with plants and soft lights. A soft breeze moved through the open windows. Jason leaned back in his chair. "They still don't trust me," he said. "Some do," Lyra replied, "but others need time. You have shaken old beliefs." Jason looked at her. "Do you still see Arn when—" "You look at me?" Lyra was quiet for a moment. "At first, yes. But now I see someone else. Someone real. Not a ghost." Jason felt something warm in his chest. Her words meant more than she knew. Later that night, Jason walked through the palace halls. He liked to clear his mind before bed, but tonight felt different. The halls were too quiet. He turned the corner and stopped. A figure in dark robes stood in the shadows. "Who's there?" Jason asked. The figure rushed toward him. Jason jumped back. The person tried to grab him. Jason ducked and pushed the attacker away. The man fell, but quickly got back up. A knife flashed in his hand. Jason ran. He didn't know the halls well, but he remembered the path to the garden. He dashed through the doors and shouted for help. 2 guards heard him and ran in. The attacker turned and fled into the shadows. The guards chased after him while one stayed with Jason. "Are you hurt?" the guard asked. Jason shook his head. "I'm fine, but someone tried to kill me." Lyra came rushing into the garden minutes later. She looked frightened. "Jason, what happened?" He told her everything. Her face grew hard. "This was not a random attack," she said. "Someone inside the palace planned this." Jason looked around the quiet garden. It didn't feel peaceful anymore. The next day, the guards doubled. Jason wasn't allowed to walk alone. Lyra was angry. She called a meeting with her most trusted advisors. "Someone wants to stop this alliance with Earth," she said. "They think Jason is the weak point." An older advisor named Ren spoke. "There is a group in the East Cities. They believe in old ways. They fear human influence. Are they behind us?" Lyra asked. "It is likely. They have spies even in the palace." Jason frowned. "Why go this far? I'm just one person." Ren looked at him. "To them, you are a symbol. If they can remove you, they believe the princes will return to the old ways." Lyra stood. "Then they are wrong. We will not let fear guide us." Jason felt both proud and scared. He never asked to be a symbol. He never wanted to be in danger. But now he had no choice. Later, Lyra and Jason sat alone in her study. "You don't have to stay," she said softly. Jason looked at her. "Do you want me to leave?" She shook her head. "No, but I can't ask you to risk your life." He smiled. "I said I'd help. I meant it. I won't run just because it's hard." Lyra reached out and touched his hand. "You are braver than most warriors I've known." Jason didn't feel brave. He felt tired and unsure. But her words gave him strength. The next few days were tense. Guards watched every door. Messages were checked. But nothing happened. Still, everyone waited for the next move. Then one morning, a message arrived from the East Cities. A peace delegation wanted to meet with Lyra. They asked her to bring Jason. The council argued. Some said it was a trap. Others said it was a chance for peace. Lyra looked at Jason. "What do you think?" Jason thought for a moment. "I think if we don't go, they win. They'll believe fear controls us." She nodded. "Then we go. Together." Preparations began at once. The journey would take 2 days by skycraft. Jason packed light. He didn't know what waited for him in the East Cities. But he knew he had to go, not as a prince, not as a soldier, but as himself. Someone willing to stand beside a princess, even when others wanted him gone. The skycraft flew fast over the glowing plains of Xylaris. Jason sat beside Princess Lyra, watching the strange land pass below them. Tall crystal trees sparkled in the sun, and rivers of light flowed between silver hills. The craft was quiet inside, but Jason's mind was full of noise. He kept thinking about the people who wanted him gone, the voices in the hallway, the attack in the garden. Now, they were flying into the heart of the East Cities, where those same people might be waiting. "Are you nervous?" Lyra asked. Jason looked at her and gave a short laugh. "Very. Aren't you?" "Of course," she said. "But we must face them. Hiding will only make them bolder." Jason nodded. He admired her strength. She didn't show fear, even when the danger was real. It made him want to be strong too. By evening, the skycraft landed outside a large stone hall in the eastern capital. Tall guards in red armor waited. They did not smile, but they did not stop Lyra either. She walked forward with Jason at her side. Inside the hall, dozens of leaders sat in a circle. The air was thick with silence. When Lyra entered, all heads turned. When Jason followed, the silence deepened. An elder woman stood. Her hair was white and her voice was cold. "You bring a ghost among us, princess." Lyra raised her chin. "He is no ghost. He is a friend, and he comes in peace." "Peace?" Another man said. "The people are confused. Some call him a sign. Some call him a trick." Jason took a deep breath. "I didn't choose to look like someone you lost. I didn't come to fool anyone. I just wanted to help. That's all." The room stayed quiet. Then the elder woman spoke again. "Then prove it. Come with us tomorrow. Walk through the lower city. Meet the people." Jason looked to Lyra. She gave a small nod. "We accept." That night, they stayed in a guarded guest house. The windows were locked, and 2 guards stood outside Jason's door. Even so, he did not sleep well. He dreamed of angry faces and whispered. Threats. Morning came too soon. They dressed in simple clothes and left the house with a small escort. The lower city was full of narrow paths, high walls, and watching eyes. People stopped when they saw Lyra, but when they saw Jason, they stared even harder. Whispers followed him. "It's him. He looks like Arn. Is he real?" Jason tried to smile at people, but most looked away or kept their distance. At a small square, a group of children ran up. One little girl stopped in front of Jason. "Are you the one who came back from the stars?" Jason knelt down. "No, I came from a place far away. I'm just me." The girl smiled. "You look like the hero in our story." Jason smiled back. "Maybe the story needs a new hero." The crowd around them grew. Some shouted questions. Some looked angry, but others looked curious. Jason answered what he could. He told them about Earth, about his life, and why he was here. He didn't speak like a leader. He spoke like a worker, honest, simple. By the end of the walk, the mood had changed. People still whispered, but now their voices were softer. Back at the hall, the elders waited. "Well?" the elder woman asked. Lyra stepped forward. "You saw the people. They listened." He did not hide. Some hearts were moved, the man admitted. "But not all." Jason stepped beside Lyra. "That's okay. Not everyone has to believe today, but maybe tomorrow, or the day after that." The elders looked at each other. "You have courage," the woman said. "We will not block your return to the capital. But be warned, not all enemies show their faces." Jason and Lyra left the hall quietly. Outside, the sun was setting. The sky turned gold and purple. "We did it," Jason said. "We made a start," Lyra replied. They walked back to the skycraft without guards. For the first time in days, Jason felt a small bit of peace. But in the shadows, someone watched, and they were not at peace at all. The skycraft landed back in the capital just before midnight. Jason stepped out with Princess Lyra. The wind was cold and sharp, but the stars above were clear. He was tired, but he could not rest. Something still didn't feel right. They were welcomed quietly by palace guards. Lyra's advisor, Ren, was waiting near the gate. His face was tight. "There was another message," Ren said. "A warning. Jason stepped closer. What kind of warning? A threat, Wren answered, but it was not written. It was placed in the princess's chambers, a small blade, left on her table. Lyra's eyes darkened. They are growing bold. Wren nodded. They do not fear us anymore. Jason felt his stomach twist. He had faced danger before, but this was different. This was personal. They were not just trying to scare the court. They were trying to scare her. Back in the palace, guards checked every room. Still, no one saw who had placed the blade. The cameras had been shut off during the exact time it happened. Someone inside had helped. The next day, Lyra held a private meeting with her most trusted people. Jason stood beside her. We cannot wait for them to strike again, she said. We must act. Wren looked at her. There is one way, a public gathering, a show of strength. If Jason stands beside you again and speaks, the people may rise with us. They will choose sides, Lyra turned to Jason. Would you do this? Jason nodded. If it helps, yes, I'll speak. She placed a hand on his arm. Thank you. The gathering was set for the next evening. Word spread fast. By sunset, the great plaza in the capital was filled with thousands of Xylarians. Lights glowed in the air, floating like stars above the crowd. Lyra stood on the platform. Jason stood. Beside her, heart beating fast, she spoke first. Her voice was clear and strong. This is a time of fear, a time of questions, but also a time of hope. Jason Carter came from a world far away, not to take, but to give. He stands not as a ruler, not as a warrior, but as a friend. Jason stepped forward. He looked at the faces before him. I know I look like someone you lost, but I am not Aaron. I'm just me. I didn't come to lead. I didn't come to pretend. I came because I was asked, and now I stay because I care. There was a long silence. Then, slowly, hands began to rise. Not in anger, but in support. One by one, voices called out. He speaks truth. He stood with the princes. He is not our past, but maybe he is part of our future. The crowd swelled with noise. It was not loud with hate, but loud with hope. Lyra smiled. She turned to Jason. You did well. He smiled back. So did you. But not everyone was happy. In a shadowed room deep in the palace, a man watched the broadcast. His face was hidden, but his voice was cold. The people turned too fast. The princess is clever, and the human is dangerous. A figure behind him stepped forward. Then we must act. Yes, the man said. Before the light grows stronger. That night, Jason returned to his room. He sat on his bed, trying to calm his thoughts. But something felt off. The lights flickered. The air grew cold. He stood quickly. The door opened. Two masked figures stepped. In. Jason backed away. What do you want? They didn't speak. One lunge. Jason grabbed a chair and swung it. It hit hard. The figure fell. The second attacker came fast, but Jason ducked and pushed him into the wall. Alarm sounded. Guards ran in seconds later. The attackers were caught. Lyra came rushing to his side. Are you hurt? Jason shook his head, breathing hard. No, but they were ready to kill me. Lyra looked at the fallen attackers. They are no longer shadows. They've stepped into the light. Wren arrived, looking grim. We traced them. They were part of the palace staff. Lyra's voice was firm. Then it is time to clean our house. Jason sat back down, heart still racing. I didn't ask for this. No, Lyra said, but you answered it. The danger was not over. But now they were no longer hiding. The enemy had shown their face, and that meant the real fight was just beginning. Sunlight filled the palace windows as a new day began. Jason woke early. He stretched, trying to push away his worries. It had been another long night with little sleep. But now something felt different. The air was lighter, and the silence was not so heavy. He dressed quickly and walked through the quiet halls. Guards nodded at him, not with suspicion, but with respect. After the night's attack, everything had changed. Now people knew who the enemy was. No more hiding in the shadows. In the main hall, Princess Lyra waited. She stood tall, wearing a simple robe, her hair pulled back. When she saw Jason, she smiled. It was the first time he had seen her really smile since his arrival. "Good morning, Jason," she said. "How are you?" "Tired," Jason replied, "but better than before." She nodded. "We are stronger now. Not just you and me, but everyone who stands with us. The enemy wanted to make us afraid, but now they have shown their faces. We can face them." Jason felt hope rise inside him. He was still scared, but he knew he was not alone. Later that day, the council called a meeting. The great hall was full. Every seat was taken, and people crowded near the doors. Lyra and Jason stood together at the front. Ren, the trusted advisor, stood with them. Lyra spoke first. "We have faced fear. We have faced loss. But now we stand together. Our world is strong when we are united. We will not let hate and shadows guide us." The elders spoke too. Some still looked unsure, but most now looked at Jason and Lyra with respect. Then Ren announced the news everyone had been waiting for. "The people who tried to harm our princess and her friend have been caught. They will stand trial. There will be no secret revenge, only justice." The hall filled with quiet applause. Jason saw hope on faces everywhere. He felt proud to stand with Lyra. After the meeting, Jason walked outside to the garden. The sun was warm. He sat by the pond and closed his eyes. For the first time, he let himself relax. Lyra joined him soon after. She sat beside him in silence. Then she spoke softly. "You changed things, Jason. At first, you brought pain, because you reminded me of Arn. But now, you have helped me remember. Hope, not just for me, but for everyone." Jason looked at her. "I never wanted to cause pain, but I'm glad I could help." Lyra nodded. "You showed us that courage can come from anyone, not just warriors. Sometimes, it is enough to stand beside someone, even when it is hard." They watched the garden together. Children ran past, laughing. The city felt alive again. Jason knew it was time to think about leaving. His work here was almost done. The Aurora was ready to depart in a few days, but a part of him wanted to stay. He had found something special on Zillor's friendship, respect, and a sense of purpose he had never known before. The next day, Lyra came to see him off at the ship. The crew stood ready. The sky was bright, and a gentle wind moved through the air. Lyra took Jason's hand. "You will always be welcome here. You have a home on Xyloris, no matter where you go." Jason smiled. "Thank you. I will never forget you. Or this place." She leaned forward and hugged him. It was a quiet, honest moment. No royal words, just two friends saying goodbye. Jason boarded the ship. As it lifted into the sky, he looked down at the city, at the palace, at the gardens. He felt proud, sad, and hopeful all at once. He had come to Xyloris as an engineer, hoping only to do his job and go home. But he left as someone changed, someone who had made a difference, even when it was hard. And he knew, deep down, that this was only the beginning of his story. Back on Xyloris, Lyra stood on the balcony, watching the ship rise. She felt stronger. She felt ready for the future. And somewhere among the stars, Jason Carter smiled, ready for whatever came next.